And opening ceremonies. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Join me for a moment of silent prayer. Amen. Thank you and welcome to everybody here. I saw Andrew here too. Boss, good to see you. See the electees are showing up, so not running away, so that's always a good sign. But first of all, we need a motion to approve tonight's agenda. I don't think there's any additions or changes, as far as I know.
Support.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 4 is a time that we allow for citizen comments. It's suggested if someone wishes to speak on a non-agenda item to come forward and try to limit it to 3 or 4 minutes. I'm not sure if anybody's here for that. I don't see anybody. I'm just gonna, we'll just go on. Agenda item number 5 is Exhibit 1 in your packet, and that's approval of the minutes of the December 1, 2025, December 2, 2025, and December 3, 2025 council meetings are enclosed. And if you had a chance to review those, I would entertain a motion for approval.
Support.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Department reports. Every year we get reports from different departments that we fund and house, and it's Exhibit 2 in your packet, and we welcome Fire Chief Dan Roger here to give us a report on the fire department. Welcome, Dan.
Thank you very much. Everybody.
Are you going up on that thing?
Yep.
Okay.
Just a majority of the information, but we'll do a quick kind of year in review. We started out this year doing training. We did what we called incident impact. We considered tornado and derecho. We had business leaders, clergy, almost everybody represented in the community, the council, as well as others were invited. And we had about 70 people at the station, and we talked about the impact of a tornado or derecho. Not necessarily tactics of what would go on, but just the thought, saying that our services, our emergency are tied up, and what are the businesses, what are they going to be doing, how would they react depending on what actually happened. We had no idea that, kind of like Gary Brown in Sioux City, that Flight 232, we had no idea that we'd be hit with a derecho later on. But anyway, that's what we spent a whole afternoon talking about that. We did a lot of training in the station as well as elsewhere, so we had a National Fire Academy training class. We had auto extrication as some of our training going elsewhere. Again, some pictures of that. And then we had RAGBRAI this summer. We operated the station for 24 hours or 48 hours straight, and had a lot of fun. Great influence with Orange City. Did a lot of participation with other departments, things going on. With that, we housed the ambulance. We had rigs there. And so we had the police, fire, and EMS during that 48 hours while we were operating, and we stayed overnight at the station doing that. Some more RAGBRAI pictures. Okay, and then our derecho damage, again, impacted a lot of departments, a lot of people, and community itself. So we'll work through that. Okay, automatic aid. This was last year over in Alton. Okay, helping our neighbors. And then we also have mutual aid, where we're actually having other people come and help us, and or we're helping other people. Okay, the 2 pictures on the top there, that's Lamar's fire. That house was 5 years old. That's Sheldon. We responded to Sheldon. They had a fire in their elevator over in Sheldon. And then down lower right, Lamar's fire actually staffing our station while we had a large call here. Okay, we have delivery of Tower 61 coming in 2026. We're looking forward to that. A lot of features and benefits of that truck that's coming to our community. Again, thank you for that, and that's we're long expecting that, okay? With that, we also had an opportunity that came up through the state of Iowa, the Length of Service Award at LoSAP. We'll be discussing that very soon, but it's encouraged firefighters to stay dedicated to what we do, and we're fortunate for that. And we thank the state of Iowa for doing this. This has been in the process for a number of years, I believe 8 to 10 years. They've looked at this particular program to do that, and we'll discuss that later. And then I have this alignment for those of you that are married, have spouses and stuff. How do you get aligned with your marriage and what goes on? This happens to be 2 of our firefighters. They are going to get married next summer, okay? But much like within the department, not everything goes swimmingly well, okay? We have things within the department that we want to do. We have different levels of interest. We have different levels of training, things within the department, as well as we have the same thing with neighboring departments. Okay, how do we interact? What do we do? What needs to be done? How do we interact? Again, same way with the city council, right? How do we align our priorities? How do we align things that are going on? And I just use this slide as representation. It's fun to have new firefighters and stuff, but we start aligning them with our training and with different things that we need to do, and it's not always easy. Okay, it brings new opportunities and new challenges. So with that being said, our current roster, we have 34 firefighters. We have 3 students, high school students. You have it listed in your packet. We have 3 from MOC. They're all seniors. So next year, again, we tell them they have to recruit new people for the following year. We'd like to have some juniors. We'd like to have some members from Unity as well. We happen to have 3 from MOC Floyd Valley, but we'd certainly like to have more representation. And then we also have listed a number of people that had different service awards this year. Again, our priorities, we want to be ISO compliant, demonstrate our commitment and accountability to our community, and continuous improvement. Again, you hear that in business, but continuous improvement is really important. We reviewed our SOGs, Standard Operating Guidelines, and rules within the department. And again, we want to recruit new members, and we're looking at again, our new members, I'm not sure how long the police academy is, but for Firefighter 1, that's 140 hours that they spend. So it's almost, you figure 3 hours a night, divide that 100, that's 40, almost 50 hours plus testing and everything else that they're going to train to become certified Firefighter 1, and then they have the testing and everything on top of it. So that being said, I have kind of an outline of different things that we've looked at for strategic planning over the next years, what we're looking at, and I would draw attention to the 2028 requesting replacement of the Engine 60. And again, that spreadsheet is there. This is what we present with the council every year, the current status, and we have it laid out there. So again, gives you an idea of time frames of what we're looking at long term to help plan ahead for the city and for the department and replacement costs. So with that being said, I would entertain any questions. I do have to say alignment, like during Tulip Festival, we with EMS and fire and police and the community and stuff, doing a lot of things during the different events, and again, community projects. And again, our future progress is built on past commitment. We are standing on the shoulders of those that have come before us. So it's not just the fire department, we have that within the community. So too bad Earl's not here, but his little white truck that got converted, the little white truck there got converted, for those that you don't know, that Parks and Rec, Noah, that would have been your unit there, the little white one. So. And then actually a Tanker 64. Yeah, well, no, okay, so Mayor, that was the next spread truck that Hay Products donated to the city. Oh. The one that your brother Mark, as we go down the road, it would sway back and forth. And if you go around corners, you tell everybody on the one side to get to the other side. So it was counter Daryl, you remember that. You know, so, and then the center tanker there, that's Tanker 64. Actually, Brecken Bumgars now has that, and he takes it to different events. Oh. So he's cleaned that up and uses that. So anyway, any questions?
you have to be 21?
So you need to
Is
be,
there an age
again,
limit?
it's 18 years old. It's
Wait, okay.
based on the city policy. We follow the city code
Okay.
as far as employment.
Okay.
And the students are guests of the chiefs. They are not members.
Right.
They're guests of the chiefs themselves. And then I guess if there's no questions, I would like to request the council to give approval that I establish a truck committee to look at the replacement of engine 60 in a couple of years. I'm not asking for approval for funds, just we've done that before. We did that with Ariel saying, okay, can we establish a truck committee to start looking down the road? It takes 2 years, at least 2 years to get a truck anymore.
So you're not looking for a motion, just direction?
Correct. I don't know how that was
Yeah.
ever in the minutes before, but we would always come to the
Yeah.
city and say, hey, will you allow us to start looking and seeing what that would take? So,
Give us some information.
Yeah.
I think that's good, Darren.
It'll come up at strategic planning session.
Yeah, yeah. Well, can't say enough of how much we appreciate the fire department and everything you do to keep us safe, so.
I just represent
I know,
34 others.
I know.
But I appreciate that, and
Yeah.
I will convey that to the
Yeah,
department. That
yeah.
we do appreciate that.
And we are supporting you in any way we can. So that takes us to agenda item number 7, which is length of service award program. I don't know if you were, Matt, if you were,
Yeah, I guess I can kick it
Yep,
off.
absolutely.
And,
John Heller, why don't you come up here?
John is gonna,
the fire department, I know Kent has been working through this too, and
everybody come up.
some
No.
recently, but the length of service, Dan kind of kicked it off. It's a matching funds program that the state of Iowa has initiated to encourage longer term volunteer participation on fire departments. So the state of Iowa has committed $1.5 million to this program. It could be likely that is tapped out and then it'll be prorated down to less than, if it's at that rate or less, it'll be $500 per person. But if there's more requesters, then it could be lesser than that, depending on the participant. So to participate, they'd like to have everybody with interest to pass a resolution saying that we would like to, our community would like to participate. And so that's what we're recommending. Now, we met with the Administrative Community Protection Committee regarding this and the amount of participation, where the funding comes from, the matching funds, that's point of discussion there. Part of it was having some skin in the game for the fire department and as well as the city participation. So that's really, I think there's a couple things. First of all, I think we want to capture the matching funds. So participating is, first of all, we want to say our intention there. But then also, where does the $500 come from? I think is probably a bigger question on that. So, and I know Dan and John have talked about adjusting budgetary numbers to lessen, just have more efficient operations on the fire department that way to do that. So.
When does the state program start? Like what fiscal year is it in the current one or not?
Yeah, it's the current one. So that's the one thing that we, they talked about it late summer. We had some webinars and stuff on it, but they weren't even sure on funding. And then all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, but they were able to apportion $1.5 million. And so they say, okay, the program's going to start basically, in December. If you can get your rosters and everything else in, get a resolution, it's almost going to be like first come, first serve. And so to having that $1.5 million available, we don't know where that would break out or how many departments, or if departments say, hey, we're not going to participate. They have it that smaller communities, there's a 3-to-1 match rather than a 1-to-1 match, which is really, a huge incentive for smaller communities to participate. We fall into that 1-to-1 match. So 50% of the funds. but we don't know, okay, is that gonna be $300? Is that gonna be $500? We are not sure. But that being said, we think it'd be wise for us to participate, and at what funding levels or levels it is, not sure. At the same time, we also recognize on the firefighter side, you know what, this is an opportunity if they want to put some money aside. Some of these younger ones may not have any type of savings type thing, that it would be a way for them to incentivize them and have some skin in the game. And so I think there's, again, this time frame, this short squeeze of this initial year, we're just not sure how it's going to shake out.
Is that calendar year or is it the state budget year?
The fiscal year. So that's where, right now, this is the push to get it done by January 30th, the resolution and so forth for this fiscal year. Then it'll start again July 1 for another year.
Yeah.
By January 30, you can have some
Resolutions, guidelines, if we want to participate this year.
How many out of the 34 did students do? They probably
Students cannot. And again, so how it is on the time frame is, let's say somebody comes in, somebody joins the department in March. They can't participate in that first year. If they come in November, they only have to wait like a month and then they could participate. It's just a timing thing. It's kind of like a lot of businesses with different roles or whatever. You have to have a waiting period. We wouldn't have any choice with these. It's like a fiscal year. It has to start. So we're going to have like 31 that would be eligible. So all the current members that are doing all the training and stuff, and that's the other thing, you have to come up with rules of participation. And it's based on each and every department. The state does not come out with one set of rules. But again, we want people to participate. We want people to train. We want people to be certified on the department. And so we're trying to set a threshold where it encourages that. At the same time is, I don't want to, as chief, I don't want to establish dead wood on the department that's not trained, that's not doing this. And I don't want to reward that in having them put into a program just to stay on. The state of Minnesota used to do a pull tab thing. There was people that were getting $1,500 to $1,800 just for being on a department, but not doing anything. And we don't. Again, that's not the idea of this.
When will we find out how much the state's going to allot based on the participation? When will that number come?
Sometime after January 30th or 31st, yeah. So that's their deadline.
Okay.
So I think they said within 45 or 60 days, and after that date is when we would know a number. Unfortunately, we don't know the number kind of going on. We know what the maximum is if it's chosen to go that high, but yeah.
Our max cap is $500. We're not asking for that. We don't think it'd be that amount. John did some calculations, probably in the $300, $350 type range. If based on the rules of averages or whatever, that's approximately what we think, depending on the number of departments. They have a number of departments that have pre-applied that said they would be interested. Now, how many of those departments actually actively participate, we're not sure.
That's
And the matching funds have to come from the city.
correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
So at the
Unless-
max of 500, we'd be looking at 15,000 for the.
Yeah, and I wouldn't recommend that, because I don't think the funds are going to be there from the state that would support that.
You don't think they're going to get to 500 per person? It'll be
I
a
don't-
lesser amount.
I think it'll be a lesser amount based on the number of people that would participate.
We had talked about in our group about those funds could come from the stipend that is given, because those stipends are up to what,
Yeah. 2,500, 2,000, I don't.
a couple $1,000 maybe. Yeah. I would encourage you to get your young guys to do it. I mean, you're trying to get an employer's match.
Oh, no, that's why we're saying, I think it's wise for us to have some of the skin in the game. But again, the very ones that would have that $2,000 are the very ones that are participating the most. And if you were going to amortize that over the whole department, right, the ones that aren't could get funds from the other ones, right? I mean, it's shared funds. So that's why, as a budgetary thing, I think it's wise that the firefighters have skin in the game. And again, it's coming out of the city type funds. So I mean, they are benefiting from it.
Whether it's the existing funds we're paying through the stipend, or it would have to be new money if we're gonna do it.
Correct. Yeah.
We talked about using the existing, I mean,
Yep.
that they have skin in the game. I
Yep.
mean, it's,
Yep.
why wouldn't they wanna grab?
The only trick this year is gonna be that the stipends are already gone out, so
Right.
this year will be a little bit different.
And that's why, if you look at the budgetary numbers and working with Kent, well, I've reduced budgetary numbers to reflect that, as well as some savings this year to help offset that from the city. So that, our discussion before, that's what we said, we could, work on something like that, so.
So if we do that this year, and then next year it comes out of the stipend, we could do it that way.
Or take
You can look at those options. I guess for today's purposes, really, the main thing is the resolution.
Yeah.
To establish the program, the guidelines can be established later. We can continue to work with your committee to do that. But for today, it's more or less the resolution to
That we're gonna participate.
participate in it, and yeah. And so there's a
We don't
sample
know to what
resolution.
degree,
Yep.
yeah.
There's a sample resolution that the Iowa Firefighter Association supplied us, and I think Matt, I don't know if you shared it with everybody or you got it. But it establishes the program, and then the guidelines can be established working with you guys or whoever after that. But and when I say after that, I mean probably by January 30th we got get to work on something here. Yeah.
I'd make the motion.
That we participate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would support that.
Okay, and since it's a resolution, we'll do a roll call, and I'll start with you, Brett.
Yes.
Zero?
Yes.
Darren?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. This is that resolution, guys. So that takes care of 7 then, right? We did that, okay. Agenda item number 8, every year we ask different organizations of the city to present and renew their request for funding. And tonight, we're happy to have Lisa Johnson here, our library director. And I guess Kent's, are you trying to help her or get out of her way?
The PowerPoint going here.
Oh, PowerPoint, okay. Welcome, Lisa. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Ready?
All right.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm just going to jump right into it. 2025 was a very busy year. Our fiscal year goes from July to June, but the current year of 2025 was really busy. If you look at the numbers of things checked out, you're going to see that nearly 160,000 items were checked out, both in physical and electronic format. 65% of those were children's materials that we're checking out to children. You can see that reflected in our popular materials. In the top category of in the library that's checked out are kids' readers. If you'll remember those, maybe some of those will remember this one's that See Dick Run, See Jane Jump, those kinds of things. But they get into reading by themselves after the picture books. That's our top category of books. And in our top titles, we have 3, 4, and 5 are children's books. The top 2 are adult books. You can see Ariel Lahan's Frozen River over there. That was also our One Book, One Sioux County Read, which I'll get to. But we have other kinds of materials in there that kids can check out too. For games, we had the Sneaky Snacky Squirrel for children, and then for adults, Dude Perfect. Our top authors, too, by the way, are children's authors except for Ariel Lahan. Barbie is number 1. Dav Pilkey, which is the Dogman series, Mo Williams, and Jeff Kinney. When you look at things like FlexShare is our interlibrary loan program that we started a few years ago. It's the consortium in Sioux County where patrons can directly request materials from 7 of the 8 libraries. That has more than doubled our interlibrary loan. So that 2,100 is actually more direct requests than the interlibrary loans we do throughout the state of Iowa. By the way, the state Iowa interlibrary loan numbers is over 380,000 books are transported throughout Iowa every year from library to library. Cardholder renewals, we had over 1,100 cardholder renewals and new cards issued. And we've checked out 1,295 items to residents of rural Sioux County. I just recently talked to somebody who grew up here in Orange City, and he told me that when he lived in the country, he couldn't get a library card because he lived in the country. So now we are checking out to rural Sioux County, and as a collective in rural Sioux County, I think it's over 85,000 items are checked out by our public libraries to rural county residents. The money that you give us has a return on investment of 5 times. You know, the money, the value added to our community is $3 million. That, our programs and services, our big annual event is the author event that we do as One Book, One Sioux County. If you remember, that's the 8 public libraries here in Sioux County, along with the 3 academic libraries of Northwest Iowa Community College, Dordt, and Northwestern. We happened to pick Ariel Lahan before she became known. Right after we picked her, she was on Siouxland Reads, Costco Reads, Library Reads, Amazon Spotlight, and many other book groups and nationwide things. So we did have a very robust checkout of books. We had 499 readers of that book. We had 120 people show up at the author event, where she talked about her writing process, how her life influenced the book, and the story behind Martha Ballard, who was actually the main character of the book, and she was a real life midwife in the 1700s, the 18th century, and incredible fact that she had a very low mortality rate of both children and mothers for that time that I think even doctors today would be envious in some cases. You can see that we have a high computer use in terms of internet and Wi-Fi. We're having about 321 computer uses a week. So that's a good number. We're answering about 200 questions a week. We have 280 programs last year, which these events are sometimes drawing in 50, 100, and even 500 participants. So we have 56 website visits a day, and visitors on average are taking 3 books every time they leave the library. We have a door count of almost 55,000. As I was saying, our programs are how we have a community impact. Just one of the things that we had 500 participants was Bluey. Story time in our community. We're going out, and the summer reading program had, 26,810 books checked out in June and July alone. So that's a really big program in our community, but we're trying to get outside of our own 4 walls and into the community to have a better impact, and we're making that concerted effort to be visible. Our story time out in the community is meeting people where they are. For instance, we went to the fire station, and that was a really big hit with the kids, and I believe the firefighters. We have partnerships in the community that allow us to bring classes on nutrition and literacy into the library from the State Library, Iowa State Extension Service. We've been to the fair, and we're also doing out and about story times or programs for adults. Flowers with Friends, we're partnering with local businesses, getting people to connect socially and do crafting together. We have puzzles, pizzas, and pop, both for teens and adults, and those have been very successful. This not only makes us more visible, but it allows us to do events in a place that we cannot do ourselves. Like I said, Bluey was very popular because of Tulip Festival. It was a little bit of a jury day that day. So many people came into the library that we had to bring her back again so that our community members could enjoy her. I hate to think what the fire department code would say about how many people were in the library that day, but it was jam-packed. On our events, you can see in the left lower corner, we have animals from the zoo coming in, and no thank you for the snakes, but good for the kids. We have lots and lots of art programs going on throughout the year because they're creative in nature. You wouldn't think of art and the library going together, but art develops a vocabulary around the discussion that's going on in the class. The kids develop narrative skills. You know, they get to tell the why behind what they're making and what it means. It increases reading interest because of the illustrations and draws them toward those K2 books with illustrations. Plus, it's a very low pressure entry point into reading. And it makes those who feel intimidated by heavy texts so that they will, you know, interact with books in a different way. It's especially effective for neurodiverse learners, and it helps them build confidence as it transfers reading and writing into discussions. So, going forward, we're looking to be out in the community for even more. We have a book bike on the way. It has been ordered, and delivery is scheduled for late January. We are really excited about this. The exterior graphic vinyl of the cargo area is going to reflect the city and the Orange City Public Library. Think Dutch fronts. We're going to have an interior bookshelf where we can bring materials along, a brochure holder. It has a fold-down shelf and a chalkboard. It's electrified, so we're not having to struggle with all that weight on there. We were very fortunate to get $1,300 for safety equipment and accessories to make this a fun and safe event from the Kiwanis. We were also able to raise $1,400 from our book sale, and we have a couple more grants that we're looking into to help offset the costs of this. A timeline is in effect, and we're starting in late January with the delivery and a rollout at Tula Festival in the parade. We're hoping to use this in our summer reading programs and for out and about story time, as well as for pop-up crafternoons, as people like to call them, and yard games. And the ideas the staff are coming up with are going on and on. Of course, there will be a schedule for the book bike, so the adventures, as we go out into the community, people will know where to meet us. Why a book bike, though? Because it's a spontaneous way to spark interest in reading, especially among children and families that can't come into the library. And it's also a key driver in early literacy and the development of lifelong readers as they explore that. During the last year, we have developed a new strategic plan for the library, and it goes from 2025 to 2035 for a 3, 5, and 10-year plan. We've come up with a new mission statement, lifelong learning through literacy. That mission statement advances lifelong learning by nurturing the literacy and the love of reading for every generation. This will connect our community to each other through their shared access to information and resources, as well as promote discovery with inspired programs and services and collections that advance individuals' growth and exploration of new ideas. We didn't have a vision statement before, but we do now, and it is a place to be and the place to become. What we mean by that is we're going to provide a welcoming space for people to read, learn, and connect, and to just be who they are, regardless of background, age, or any other kind of demographic. That's what we're offering, a place of belonging. As an information agency, we empower people to gain knowledge, skills, and pursue growth opportunities that will inspire and shape their future. We help people become who they are meant to be. We also had no values, so we worked hard on that, and we came up with some values. Respect, integrity, service, and equality, which is RISE. In terms of our values, respect, and we believe that respect is the cornerstone of a thriving community, and that every individual has the right to dignity, kindness, and empathy. For integrity, we believe that integrity means doing the right thing even when no one is looking, and we are committed to honest, responsible, and ethical service. In terms of service, we believe that service is the heart of our work and are dedicated to meeting the needs of our community in a way that empowers individuals and strengthens relationships. Equality, we believe that every person deserves equal opportunity and treatment, and we are going to actively work to make fairness a lived reality. In our strategic plan, we have the 3 goals of institutional capacity, information access, and lifelong learning. We have action plans for each of those at every level, 3, 5, and 10 years. I've provided that full mission to all of you, our strategic plan. In terms, though, of institutional capacity, we're looking at how the library is as an institution. So we're developing and strengthening by building staff and board knowledge through ongoing training and professional development. We'll be enhancing the library infrastructure to ensure a safe and accessible and modern space. And we'll be improving our internal processes and procedures to increase efficiency, accountability, and responsiveness to community needs. In terms of information access, the library will strengthen information access by providing our customers with easy access to information resources across all formats and platforms. We will be developing outreach initiatives that extend the library services beyond the walls to engage and serve our broader community, hence the book bike, but we're also looking at the possibility of implementing home delivery as an expansion of the delivery that we already do to the living communities in the area, specifically for those who are aging in place in their homes and can no longer get out as easily as they once could. In terms of lifelong learning, the library will promote lifelong learning by enhancing literacy skills from early childhood through all stages of life. And we will be supporting them through the development of general knowledge and practical skills so that they can succeed in their personal, educational, and professional lives. One of the areas that we're really already succeeding in that is in our migrant communities who are coming into them. I recently had the opportunity to bring Anna Bartlett online, and we have a lot of Spanish services going on in our library, not just helping them to learn English and people to learn Spanish in conversational groups, but also helping them find homes, medical care, job applications, and just the services that you need to daily live in and around Orange City. Now this gets us to our funding. We have 6 line items. The Sioux County funding reflects our current condition. The $44,494, I'm expecting that to stay flat as a funding, as it was not this was not expected previously. Enrich Iowa is also going to stay the same. This is related to our interlibrary loan reimbursements, think Flex Share. Like I said, there was over 380,000 items transferred within the state of Iowa, and that pot of money is divided between the different libraries based upon how many interlibrary loan transactions we do. It also includes our direct state aid, which is based upon accreditation standards, which we're going to be going through and is due by the end of February of 2026. This is a per capita amount that's based on city population and in compliance with these quality standards. Last year, we used these funds to provide digital purchases for our online Libby. Grants are also being sought, but supplementary resources of income, but these are highly contingent, so I left a line item blank. We're hoping to get some money, but I didn't want to put it into the budget as a yes. Other revenue comes from fees and donations. Much of that is offsets for printing costs. We do a large amount of printing at the library. Most of the income in other revenue comes from that, and a large portion came from our book sale. We do have some donations, like if people would buy 5 copies for 50 cents, they'll leave the whole $1, so that's then donations. We're also selling our weeded books, the thrift books and Better World books, so we have some income coming in for there. And that's good because we have no direct shipping costs added to that. In terms of gifts, we have a legacy gift from the DeVries family of $1,000 that we get every year. And you can see that I've asked for a little increase in our City of Orange City funding. I think that's a 3%. In terms of salaries and wages, I figured the budget at a 5% increase max per person. That is a max. I'm trying to over budget for that. I've also figured that FICA wages are at 7.65% and IPERS at 9.44% of wages. You can see that insurance has gone up by 30%. So that's a big hit in the budget. Salaries and wages, their increase of 15% as we've shifted over the years from 2 to 4 full-time staff. The previous year's budget is underrepresented in this area because of that shift. This change is also reflected in the decreased number of part-time help. Therefore, we have a 12% decline in part-time help. Overall, there's an 11% increase here. Salaries and wages are always, and benefits are always the biggest part of the budget, and this is at 75%. This may limit our flexibility, but is in large part due to the insurance costs. In terms of operating and capital expenditures, we're facing some challenges that will require the use of our reserves. Building insurance is once again expected to increase in 2022. In 2022, it was at $13,500. So you can see that there's been a large increase in building insurance. Maintenance technology is also increasing. That is our IT services. I've already been informed that it's going to be increasing by $6,300. Our software and integrated library systems are expected to increase as well. That is a 100% increase since I've been here in terms of IT services. So unfortunately, it was $16,000 2 years ago. Postage is going to increase a little bit. I've heard on rumblings about postage rates going up, so I budgeted for that. Books, we're leaving that as flat. You may have heard that our biggest vendor went out of business, but we do have other vendors that we can get books from. We're transitioning now over to Ingram, which is another large distributor of books. So we use Amazon. We have now Barnes and Nobles as well online, as well as the specialty vendors that we have for children's books. I've realigned the periodicals. I had previously cut it in half, but I budgeted it to a return to the full subscription services in this area, significantly because of the newspaper use in the library. These see high use, but the subscription rates have increased dramatically over the years. Wall Street Journal is now $800. The Argus Leader and Sioux City Journal are just right at $600, and we've cut back on magazines in order to keep those things. But magazines have a real value in that they deliver timely information that's factual on topics that are almost sometimes difficult to curate in terms of books. So I'm hoping this is a draft budget, bringing it up to the very top of what we're going to need. We'll look at this later. In terms of capital equipment, we're looking at getting new furniture in different areas of the building, tables for the meeting rooms, and seating in the periodical area. We had upgraded some seating in the previous year in the YA area, and the furniture we have now is really starting to show its age. So we need to do that. In terms of capital improvements, we're looking to improving our security systems, providing access doors with key fob access on a couple of the other doors, as well as implementing Wi-Fi and internet cabling hubs and upgrading those. I am hoping to apply for E-rate to help maybe offset some of those costs. But that's why we're looking at a new budget drafted at this point, but not approved, of a little bit over budget. Any questions?
What kind of fund balance do you carry?
I'm sorry?
What kind of fund balance do you carry?
Roughly about 300 and 325 I have here.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? I love the library. So
Thank you.
Thank you for everything you do. And
We had family festive fun on Saturday, even though it was so frigid, and so we had 140 people come in, and it was so much fun. We had Elf on the Shelf and games and crafts and Santa Claus, and they just had a wonderful time. And just to see all the happy faces and the skeptical ones about, Bill plays a great Santa, and it's like, it was just so much fun.
Do you partner with the Arts Council for some of your craft type things, or?
We are going to be partnering more and more with the Arts Council to do art types of things, and yes, we do. We have, and we have been partnering with them for several years now.
That's good. Yeah. Anything else? Thank you so much, Lisa.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You bet. Okay. Agenda item 9, GO bonds. It's time now for a public hearing. So we're gonna, Kent's gonna come up and talk us through that, but I'm gonna go ahead and open the public hearing and take it away, Kent.
Yeah, this is, there's a few steps involved in regards to doing a GO bond, and this is the time to have a public hearing on it. Basically, like I say in the notes, this is largely 3.3 million, largely is in regards to the aerial ladder from the fire department, some infrastructure costs for Canal Second, and some possibly refunding of 2019 bonds. Again, tonight is the purpose of the public hearing, and then if no comments from the public, we would ask to move to the next steps. And that next step for us, if this is approved tonight after the public hearing, would be to approve the official statement on January 19th. There would be no action on January 5th, but that would be the next step. And then actually, first meeting in February, possibly lock in the rates and then have a closing towards the 1st of March. But for tonight, just having the public hearing and explain it again, those three parts are the aerial ladder, some infrastructure costs that we're doing through REC because it's in REC electrical territory, and then some possibly refunding. Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, have you had anybody ask any questions or of the city or anything?
No.
Anybody here to speak or ask questions on that matter? Council, do you have anything?
Move that we go ahead with the proceedings.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing then. Then we need a resolution to that effect, Darryl. And that is a resolution, so I'm going to start with you then, Darryl.
Yes.
Darren?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Brett?
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you all. It is public hearing time. So agenda item number 10 is a time and place for public hearing on the development agreement with OCDC regarding the Quick Trip property. And are you talking about that too?
Just a couple quick
Okay.
statements.
So we'll go ahead and open the public hearing.
Yep, sorry.
Nope, you're fine.
So, yep, Commercial Centrum, this is in regards to a development agreement that we're entering in. The city is with Orange City Development Corp. in regards to tax increment financing, giving them their TIF rebate. And like I say in the notes, it's going to help reduce the TIF dollars will go directly to OCDC, help reduce their loan costs for that development out there, and thus saving us some interest costs that were in regards to the MOU agreement. So it's a 10-year reimbursement.
Okay. Any input from anyone in our audience or council? Any questions? Then we'll go ahead, if not hearing anything, then we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. And then we need a resolution approving and authorizing execution of a development agreement by and between the City of Orange City and Orange City Development Corp. And that is a resolution, so I'll start with you, Darren.
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Brett?
Yes.
Darryl?
Yes.
Excellent. Now we'll call Kent back up for agenda item number 11 for our monthly financial report. That's Exhibit 3 in your packet.
Thank you. Just a couple comments. December 1 and June 30 are when we pay our principal and interest. So December 1 is just interest on our bond issues, and June is usually our principal, but December 1 is when they're due. And so I wrote a check on November 30, so that is included in these numbers. So what I want to point out is we wrote a check for debt service for $205,000, water revenue bonds for $219,000 and change, sewer revenue bonds of $112,000, which reflect in the disbursement column, sorry. And then the last interest payment is in regards to the downtown Hawkeye TIF area. Small debt there. Interest is only $2,250. So we had about so that's the biggest thing that happened at the end of the month for December 1. Couple other comments are, if you look under the capital projects, under the housing capital project 304, the received dollars is some lot sales. Kurt sold some lot sales and Puddle Jumper, and then we did have some expenditures in regards to Beck. In regards to that 44, there's some engineering costs, and then Graves construction for the final payout of the shelter house. I think that was like 11. And and then the last comment I have is under the electric, under dispersed, we did have bond and interest there as well, and that was 161,000 in that number. And then another larger one is we had the switchgear material come in for the West Sub, and that was 521,000, and that's in regards to that project we've had for 18 months. This is now, part of it has shown up. We had to pay for it. We have a transformer come in spring, summer of 26. That'll be another $1 million, but that's part of the project that we talked about. So the switchgear material came in, and that's part of the dispersed. If you have any other questions, I'm open to it. Otherwise, that's all I got.
Questions on the financial report? Motion to approve? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Exhibit 4, which is agenda item number 12, is our monthly bills. Stay up there, Kent.
Yes. Okay. So page 1, we'll kind of go through this. Hopefully you have some time. If you have questions, holler. I'll hit some of the highlights. Allers, Cooney, Dorweiler, we had some legal services. This has to do with some of the urban renewal areas and some of those development agreements that we've took action on. A couple more down from that, all funeral services is in regards to what Janet's been working on with the cemetery. We're about 95% complete. This is another installation invoice for about 14. We've got about 40,000 is what we anticipate. So, and then on the bottom, Beck Engineering, the total goes to the next page. It's just shy of 20 grand. This has to do with 7th Street overlay that Matt's talked about in regards to with the DOT. Those are the first two numbers. The 3822 has to do with some engineering getting ready for Madison Place and our Puddle Jumper. The 62 is in regards to Canal 2nd in regards to engineering. 1272 at the very end, bottom there has to do with Webster Park. And then on 3231 has to do with Delaware and 2nd. This has to do mostly with the special assessments ready, I think, is the biggest thing. Okay. What else do we got? Dakota Mainstream at the bottom of page 2 is a membership dues. This is an annual membership that we're paying in regards to having them look at some water resources for the future for us. Any questions on page 1 or 2? Otherwise, I think the next highlight is on page 8, unless you have something in between there. Page 8, new vendor on site. It's the second one down. It is in regards to a new security system that we put in at the street department. So it's in regards to by the fuel pumps as well as the back where they have the aggregate sand, lithium rock and all that. So we're monitoring that. And that was a budgeted item as well. Next thing is on page 9, the bottom, annual payment to the Sioux County Communications. This has to do with communication share with our local fire and police and ambulance. So it's basically the cost for some of the dispatching to be done there. Of those dollars that you see, the total is $44,949. The first number, the 89, is for ambulance, and the hospital does reimburse us for that. The 31 is for police, and just shy of 45 is for fire. And that's how we budget it too. It's a 70, 10, 20% split. Page 11. Page 11 is Unity Christian High School. It's the last installment payment of that 250, the last 50,000. And then right underneath that, Vanderwint and Sons, it's the final payment, I believe, for the pickleball courts there of 55,276. And then at the bottom, I was going to ask you, Matt, we bought some transformers. You can see there some bigger transformers, 3-phase.
Yeah, that's for the archery project behind Valley Crest there.
Thank you. That's what I could
There are
remember.
six buildings for those.
That's all I got, unless you guys have any other questions.
The Vanderwent and Sons, that pickleball court, did Earl have an update on that last time that we have to redo some surfacing? Is that with Vanderwent or is that with another company that did that?
I think it's Vanderwint, so there is some retainings that we're withholding there yet because of some surfacing that we're having them help us out with as a general
Not
contractor.
fully paid up yet. That's just that.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Is there a motion to come up with this?
So support.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Agenda item 13 is the North Wyland Urban Renewal Plan, and that's Exhibit 5 in your packet. Guess who?
Yeah, last one. Sorry. So this is in regards to Allers helping us establish a urban renewal area. This has to do with tax increment financing. This is North Wyland is a residential urban renewal plan that we're establishing. And tonight we're just starting that process. It is a process that we have to go through that will get wrapped up if everything goes accordingly in February. So this is the start to have a public hearing. The setting of the date of the consultation, what it says in your agenda, has to do with the other government entities, which is part of the process that the state requires. So we are establishing that meeting at December 22 at 1 o'clock here in the council chambers, and who will be invited is school, county, and CC. And we've done that before, and we just explained to them the plan, what our purpose is, and then and then it's in regards to the development agreement is the next resolution. So this urban renewal plan is in regards to North Wyland. Like I say, it's a TIF that we're entering into with the developers. It's a 10-year TIF. Ryan's been helping me out with this as well, and we're just starting this process. And so the development agreement is between us and the developer in regards to them getting some TIF dollars to incentivize them with that.
Does that capture the whole project or just what?
Part of it. Just part of it. It is 60-40 split, is that right? Correct. Yeah.
So we need two separate resolutions.
We do, yes.
Okay.
We do. Any other questions? Otherwise, thank you very much.
Anybody have questions for Kent? Okay, so we need a resolution determining the necessity and setting date for the consultation and a public hearing on a proposed North Wyland urban renewal plan for proposed urban renewal area in the city of Orange City, state of Iowa.
Support.
The resolution, so I think I met you, aren't I, Rod?
Yes.
Brett?
Yes.
Oh, you shook your head.
I didn't know if you were starting with Rod. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Daryl? Darren?
Yes.
Excellent. And then the second resolution is fixing the date, which is the 22nd?
No. That's
No.
January 19, I think is the hearing.
January what?
19.
19 is a public hearing?
Yeah.
On the proposal to enter into a development agreement with Skyline Valley Real Estate. So is there a resolution to that effect? Now I'll start with you, Brett.
Yes.
Daryl?
Yep.
Darren?
Yes. Yes.
And Rod. Thanks for answering. Yep, good. I don't know if I could remember your name anymore, yeah. Okay, agenda item 14 is Dutch Fronts, which is exhibit 6 in your packet. And Mr. Kurt, welcome. We talked a little bit about this last.
We did,
Right.
yes. So at the last council meeting, it was advised that the council wanted the Dutch Front Committee to revisit the front and give their opinion on the percentage of what they considered was Dutch architecture or design. In that discussion, they met on December 10th. Rod can fill in, at any time, but the front itself could get $100,000 for the west side and $50,000 for the north side, the adjacent front, with the new ordinance that was put into place. Dutch Front Committee decided with the process, the design, the stone, that they were recommending that City Council consider 25% of the max 100,000 allowable for one side. They didn't think the north side was enough feature to it, so they were recommending 25,000 from the city for reimbursement for it.
RTI was at the meeting with you, or
They were not.
were they aware of this?
Not yet. So
Were they expecting a larger percentage?
they really didn't know going into it. They said that they understood where they were in the process, and they were just asking for some financial reimbursement of it. So I thought before I went back to them, and then see what they thought of it, and then they could always come back and. So we're going to get guidance from the city going forward. I mean, the city still can give up to whatever you guys want. I mean, this is just their recommendation that with what they do, I mean, obviously they say they're not the financial people behind it, so they normally don't have to, because they approved it and letting it up to you guys, but then you guys came back and said when their input, so they came up with 25%.
I think, Darrell, it was unfortunate. The Dutch Front group wasn't able to meet with them at all during the process. So really we were just looking at what we see today as being up there, and the things that the committee looks at, while there's some things that resemble what the Dutch Front Committee would look for, there's a lot of things that weren't included. And that's where they just said we would view it as 25% of a Dutch front.
And they
No,
gave you the cost of the $330,000 for the front.
That was the estimated cost for the front of what they estimated the front to cost. And that would include the stone, the siding, windows, and all that. I mean, everything that, obviously the exterior of the building.
Seems like we're less than 10% of the total then of what they put in, but.
Well, you're saying the 330 was the total cost of the side of the
Total
building.
cost.
And we usually just look at the Dutch.
Dark architectural. Well,
The
Dutch features of it, and that's what they were that's what they provided was the 330.
Yeah, they
Not with an
provide-
itemized list.
Yeah.
How does the process usually go? I mean, whether it's an in-town builder or out-of-town builder, they usually, once they want to start a project in town, they reach out to Dutch Front Committee, or how can we, I guess, avoid this going forward?
We typically will ask that at the time of the permit if they are going to look at a Dutch feature for reimbursement, which downtown they have to do it. So if there's any building permits, it gets brought up to them at that point, and then that starts the ball rolling. Well, we did the same thing with this project, and then it's not in a place that they have to do it or ask for funds or do anything. They can do what they want. And then there's conversations back and forth, and some of those conversations got lost. And then, so that's how we ended up in the situation we were. So it's kind of a 50-50, kind of a mix-up on trying to do things through email and not having very good face-to-face talks. And they understood that. They thought it was actually at the end when they met. In our first meeting we had with them, back, I don't remember when that was. I don't know if you were you? I don't think you were there.
No.
So yeah, they didn't really know the whole process, and then got behind the 8 ball, and then it started. So then it really started when the sign went out front and it looked orange, and then people really started talking. So then they wondered if that was the approved front. So
And I think it's important to remember that the committee is just looking at it from the Dutch part and saying, this is what we would view, so based off a 25% Dutch emphasis, that would be 25,000. It's up to the council to decide what number they want to give. But we had asked them, could you come back and tell us how much of this would you classify as Dutch? So that's the work they did.
I hate to go against a committee too that we put in the place of, hey, this is your job, so.
Well, we want to continue to encourage investors like that. I mean, that's a multi-million-dollar facility.
But they could come back and ask for more again.
They could not be in favor of what the offer was. I mean, like I said, it's city council's up to 50% of the first front, and then 50,000 max on the second front. So, I mean, there's that range with the max of 100 and then the max of 50. So,
And there isn't anything else that they can change at this point.
no. We actually asked them to change the north side of the building to give more of a design look to it, so it looks a little more presentable. And they came back with an awning over the drive-through. That was probably going to be there anyway. So yeah, I know there's a little communication in our meeting about 25% of 100,000 or 25% of the 150,000, and then they came up with 25,000 flat number. So.
And again, they were just trying to look at it from the Dutch standpoint, knowing that this group ultimately picks the number.
Do you think it would change out? I mean, if they were thinking it was going to happen at the end, do you think it would change any of the committee's thought process if we waited until it was done and looked at it once the building was complete? No.
You look at it just as what we're at right now with how far the building is along. It's pretty much to the point where it's being done. It's done with what the features are going to be to the building, because they made that comment when they gave suggestions was, well, the stone was bought, the siding's bought, we start now. He made the comment, well, it'd have been cheaper actually if I'd have met with you guys earlier, because the stone was more expensive than what the brick would have been, and that they picked and stuff. So it's So yeah, really in essence, it really comes down to what you get. That was their suggestion, and you can give up to whatever. I mean, 25% number was given out there, and in the end, they came down to 25% of 100,000. That's where that 25,000 came in. Not saying that you can't do 25,000 or 25% of the 150. I mean, that's your discretion too. So if you wanted to enhance that at all.
And the council doesn't have to decide today.
No.
I mean, if you wanted to mull this over a little bit.
And I can forward on to that. I mean, we can do that.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, this won't be here next time, Daryl.
Oh, now I see where you're going. Yeah, you can
Looking
table
at
it,
Mark
and I can have a conversation with Brian Langton saying this is where we're at.
I'm not trying to pawn it off. I am saying though, if you want to think about it, I mean, I don't know that I don't know that it's going to get better.
Why don't we talk to them that this is what the committee is recommending and get their reaction at least? And
We can do that. Say the discussion that's had, and I mean,
I just think this is a little bit on the light side, but I want to respect the Dutch front, but I want to encourage more investment in Orange City. If there was an expectation that they were going to get 150 potentially, we're a long ways away.
I don't know if there was that expectation.
I don't think there was at the beginning.
I don't think it was that. But.
And we've never had anything like this before, have we?
Not to this
number.
magnitude, yeah. Not with where we're at in the project and what they're asking, so.
If you did 25% of what their estimated costs, that would put you at about 80, which is about half of the max they could have gotten.
have we had people in the past come back and say they aren't okay with the number? And then we readjust the number?
I think so. Yeah, Janet would know, but.
I don't remember.
I don't care when they decided to do more.
To add on, yeah.
Then we ended up adjusting,
Right.
redoing the ordinance. And then
I'm just thinking if we go to them with that number, and they don't, then how do we come to if we would pass or agree on the 25 today, I mean, then how do we change it eventually? If they aren't happy with it. Anyway. Gotcha.
I think the hard part is, right, this, speaking to what Daryl's talking about, everybody loves the investment that the group is making in Orange City, right? That's not, but they're looking at it from the Dutchness of the building. And that's where the 25% came. I mean, and that's not a hard, that was their best estimate.
Crabby if we.
No.
What did we do for Quick Start for their 2 entrances?
we haven't got any final invoicing actually from them, so we have not. But I think at the time it was going to be, I think the estimated cost for their front was only like $30,000. Mm-hmm.
And they were paying for 2 entrances.
But I think that number is going to come back higher on Quick Start because I don't think they estimated how big they were going to make those things, and the cost of, I know just the material alone costs them a lot more money if they turn something in. I mean, we have a few of them hanging out there that people haven't turned their final invoices on, but I know that one ended up taking more labor, more material and everything by the time they didn't have it in. When they drew it up, they didn't really have it drawn up to attach to the building, so that made a difference.
What do you guys
Yeah,
want
we
to do?
can, we can table it and I can be in contact with them if that's what.
This is the last time we do this, Rod, so.
Or you can throw a different number out there. I don't.
Yeah.
I think 25 is light, but
Is light.
light, yeah.
Other thoughts?
I'd say table it and talk to them. At least we know.
Yeah. No, it's fine. I think we're gonna have it at the next. Yeah, we'll put it on the next agenda then.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go from there.
Okay, go ahead, thank you. Kurt, and then you're gonna talk about family animal care approval too?
I am.
Good.
So we received the invoicing for that. First off, in the notes, I believe the notes are not right on the reimbursement for the project from the city. So I'll explain. The east side of the Dutch front for that building along Albany was $194,860, and the south side was $176,622. So the investment was $371,482. It says in here the city's portion would have been $132,061, with 50% of the east side building and $50,000 for the south side front. Actually comes up to $147,430 for reimbursement from the city. In the ordinance, I'll state the city council can, at its discretion, grant additional matching fund for the engineering drawing fees for the fronts. Their design fees for the building were $23,574, and you can give up to 5% of the overall cost of the project, which would be $18,575 for. With that approval, and $147,430 would be $166,005 for the fronts.
Do you have any input? Nope.
No, I mean, this has been We worked with them extensively and, yeah, this is, yeah.
And we've had a lot of comments about that building, how well it looks downtown and fits downtown.
Nice.
And it was a very good investment, on their part,
Yep.
along with the
Yep.
city helping with it.
Yeah, I agree.
Make a motion that we approve that.
All those in favor, signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Excellent, thanks, Kurt. And then committee, agenda item 15 is committee appointments. Planning and zoning, Terry Hoffmeyer's 5-year term is up, but he's willing to
He's willing to run another term.
run another term, and I would recommend that for the council's approval, if you're okay with that. So, motion to approve, Terry.
Support.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And then for the Board of Adjustment and Appeals, Gary Cleveringa has resigned from the Board of Adjustments and Appeals on December 2 after 42 years of service to the city of Warren City. So we commend and thank Gary for his investment in that capacity. He's been a huge asset, and I think very, very good to work with that. And we staying with the name. I would recommend Gary Yeltma to fill that position to the city council. So we just need a post.
So moved.
Thank you, Darren. Support. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks for working on that too. You bet. Agenda item 16 is Exhibit 7 in your packet, and it's real estate purchase. And Noah's has been working on this, and he's going to fill us in.
Yeah. So we have an opportunity at Dunlap Wildlife Area for a purchase of 1 acre of land at $18,000. So if you look on your piece of paper, on the west side of Dunlap, the property line is owned by Standard Family. They own almost directly up to the trail where we currently have the trail. And so looking at how we can develop out there and add some different things, one of the things we could do is we could put a trail extension out there on the top edge. So if you've ever been on the trail out there, it's pretty steep on that west side, and I've had people tell me that they get a little nervous going down that chip red rock. It's so close to the water, and so by purchasing this 1 acre of land, we would be able to complete a trail on the top side, but also have a trail on the bottom side as well. And I think that would add not only an ease of access for us doing maintenance out there, but also an easier access for people to enjoy that area as well. So I can answer any questions for you if you have them, but I'm looking for approval of the purchase agreement for the 1 acre of land at $18,000.
That trail's needed.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a sketchy spot.
It's kind of scary, honestly. It's nice if you're a little gutsier and feel like you want to go down it, but it needs to happen up, I think, on that top side.
Yeah, there's washouts and
so.
Well, this is a project you're working on for budget, but
Yes.
working with
Yeah.
Standard
So
Family and the
I should
timing worked up now.
Yeah, I should
when to get it
clarify.
done.
Yeah, I should clarify that the trail extension is I have it quoted out for the upcoming budget, 26-27, but we're looking at purchasing this piece of property for once the purchase agreement comes through, and talking with Standards, they were thinking it would be a 2026 sale. But from the city perspective, I think we're planning to purchase it as soon as we can.
I think that motion.
Support.
Any other questions for Noah or Matt? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
No. Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Noah.
Thank you.
Retirement health insurance reimbursement. I think Matt and Janet are going to talk about that one.
Yeah, that the city, as a benefit for long-term employees who work 25 years or more, we pay for 1 year of health insurance after retirement. And that is good prior to somebody turning 65, but once they turn 65, our health insurance plan does not allow them to do that type of arrangement. So some time ago, we worked out an alternative plan that we would pay for, basically give a dollar amount to the retired employee to cover any Medicare premiums, deductible, prescription. It's a better deal than our health insurance plan. So basically that was $400 a number of years ago, and just truing things up, feel that this should be up to $500 per month. So that would cover that. So don't run into that very often. So we looked at ways to build maybe some automatic, somehow to tie it into Medicare so we don't have to adjust this, but it doesn't happen that often. So just the unknowns with insurance and Medicare, we're going to recommend just moving up to 500. So.
Questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item 18 is we received a renewal applications for a special Class C retail alcohol license from 88 Chinese Restaurant. And I think everything's in order according to Janet. So just need a simple motion to approve that.
Support.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll move to administrative reports, but before I go to Matt, I'm going to jump in here. If you were here at last meeting, it caught me off guard that Earl was responding, so I was a blubbering mess. So I'm a little bit more organized tonight with my thoughts. I actually wrote it down, so then that way, Rod and I were talking about the older we get, the more emotional we tend to, because things come to an end, and it's not, you think, wow, where did that go? But tonight, so I'm going to read this. Tonight we have the honor of recognizing two individuals whose service has helped shape Orange City in lasting ways. Rod, I think 16 years of faithful service on the City Council. You leave a legacy of steady leadership, thoughtful decision-making, and a deep commitment to our community. For more than a decade and a half, Rod gave his time, wisdom, and heart to the work of this city. His willingness to listen, his consistency, and his servant spirit have made Orange City a better place. We are grateful for the many sacrifices you and your family have made along the way. And Daryl, he served our community for an extraordinary 14 years and 6 months on the City Council. You always got to be a little bit different. But when we had we needed a replacement on the City Council, Daryl very willingly stood up and took that on and to fulfill that term, and then ran for 2 years and 8 years as our mayor. Few have given as much of themselves to Orange City as Daryl has. Throughout his years of service, he has been an outstanding ambassador for our city, leading with humility, vision, and a genuine love for the people he served. His leadership helped guide Orange City through growth, challenge, opportunity, and it's always led with integrity and care. Both Rod and Daryl exemplify what it means to be selfless leaders. They serve not for recognition, but out of a deep desire to see Orange City thrive and remain vibrant. We're reminded that Scripture calls us to serve one another humbly in love, and that spirit has been clearly reflected in the lives and leadership of Rod and Daryl. Their service has strengthened not only our city government, but the sense of community that makes Orange City such a special place to call home. On behalf of the City Council, staff, and the entire Orange City community, we thank you for serving so well. May God continue to bless you and your families, and may the seeds you have planted through your faithful service continue to bear fruit for our community for generations to come. And remember, we have your phone number. We know where to find you. So thank you, gentlemen. Matt.
Mayor, it's hard to beat. Thank you.
See, it's much better when it's written down.
Yeah, there you go. And celebrate Gary Claveringa. And along those lines,
yep.
Mark and Andrew here tonight, and thank you. And
you'll show up next time.
Staying along those lines, received a notice today from Mike Klotwick that he is retiring at the end of the year after 45 and a half years roughly. So another long-term service there. So that I don't have anything else really to report.
Janet, do you have anything? I think, oh, there's Kent? No, yeah, we heard enough from you today, right? Jim?
No.
Anything? Brian? Chief Dan, anything else? Okay, council, Brett?
I would just echo what the mayor said. Thanks for answering my questions when I had them and putting up with me for the past 2 years. It's been a pleasure.
Daryl?
Thank you for letting me serve. Appreciate it.
Oh, thanks, Rodro.
Yeah, just it's been a pleasure to serve, and hopefully you guys who are starting, you'll look back someday and say, yeah,
Wow, we're
we did
never.
a few things that were right. So, but yeah, it's been a fun and very much a privilege to do. So
Good, good. Before we adjourn, we are going to go into closed session per Iowa Code, section 21.5.1I, considering a hiring position. And I don't believe there will be any action taken when we come out. So is there a motion to go into closed session? That is a roll call. Where did I lead off? Is it Daryl? Daryl.
Yes.
Darren?
yes.